How's it going, Vaqueros? I hope you guys enjoyed that last video with the hipfire build. I'll probably make that a little series and cover some more SMG hipfire builds, but today's video, we're going back to shotgun land. It's the place we all know and love, and today we're going to be talking about the 300, the Lockwood 300, and more precisely, we're going to be talking about the baby barrel, the weird Bryson special barrel that nobody uses on this thing. That's right, we're going to be talking about this thing today. Much like my other favorite shotgun builds, this is one of those ones that people don't really expect, and then they'll try and challenge you and jump around a corner, and you just kind of two-shot them out of existence. Tons of fun. You'll probably see some clips in the gameplay where a few people have tried that. Doesn't really always work out for them unless I miss my shots, but this build is a lot of fun, but it's also pretty damn hard to use for a few reasons. But let's just go ahead and hop into the build and I'll show you what it is. So here is the build in question, and as you can see, I am using the COD Community app, which I seriously recommend you guys going and make an account on. And also, if you haven't, follow me on there, because you'll probably see, before I make a video, you'll see a loadout like this kind of get posted, and that's a hint that, well, the next video probably will be that loadout. So it's a nice little sneak peek if you're curious about it. But this is the build. It is a ton of fun. Now, a few things about it. First of all, that baby barrel is absolutely awful. And the reason for that is because unlike the sawed-off barrel in Warzone 1, which I loved and thought was a fantastic addition to the 7.25, with this one, you just kind of lose range overall, every single range, and you don't really get much benefit to your damage. In Warzone 1, you basically got a longer max damage range, which was really nice, and it made it very consistent with 150 damage per shot, where you could basically two-tap people really, really well in that 4-meter range, 4.5 meters, I think it was, to be exact. But in this one, you just kind of lose range overall. So you basically can two-tap with the base gun with this barrel only out to like 1.5 meters. I mean, it's disgustingly bad. I never recommend using this gun with this barrel without Dragon's Breath. But that leads me to my next point. Dragon's Breath. Dragon's Breath is the way to go 100% on this build. Why? Because first of all, it changes that damage mechanic, the hip fire versus aim down sights damage mechanic. It basically just makes it to where it does the same damage no matter what, which is really, really nice. You don't have to worry about that kind of inconsistency if you're not fully aiming down sights. But also, it kind of extends that max damage range a little bit. And with this barrel and Dragon's Breath equipped, you can only two-shot out to about that 3-meter mark, which granted is not really that far. And out past that, it's not going to be a two-shot. Now, the other barrels in the normal base gun, they can two-shot in that first damage drop-off range, but this barrel doesn't. It just does weaker damage overall, but up close, you're still dealing about 230 points of damage. So it's like a pocket shotgun that just deals this enormous amount of damage. And of course, your time to kill, because of how fast this thing can two-shot, is looking incredibly spicy at about 350 milliseconds. Again, that's probably one of the fastest time to kills in the game. There are a few others that are close and that are above this, but this is one of the best. And there's a reason this thing is highly recommended from me as a gun overall with Dragon's Breath, because this thing is just, man, it is amazing to use. And this build is fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's not the best build to use for this shotgun, but it is a ton of fun. Now, you can totally swap that choke if you want to for something like the Saiken DB107, because it does give you about 14% more range, which takes your two-shot out to about that 3.5 meter mark, and this is without tunings, of course. So if you do that, make sure you're using the Saiken DB107. The other one that does that 14% range, the GW Max 99, it kind of just hurts your aim down sight speed. It gives you a little bit better recoil control. I mean, if you want to have a little bit better recoil, you can use it, but I always prefer being snappier and having a faster aim down sight speed, so I typically always go for the Saiken DB107 when I use it on this gun. Like I said, it's a lot of fun, and I really encourage you guys to try it, mostly because you have such a great movement speed with this build. It really allows you to close the gap, and plus you're going to have a snappy aim down sight speed. You're going to feel like you're blazing through everything. It's a lot of fun, and I encourage you guys to check it out for fun. As for my thoughts overall on this build, like I said, this is one of those builds that I just recommend because it's a good time. It's got some small niche and small use, but it's still pretty niche. It's a lot of fun, and it works really well in that 3-meter range. So I encourage you guys to try it out. But if you're looking for the most competitive Lockwood 300 build, this probably isn't it. Again, this is like a pocket shotgun, super fast, super fun to use. Never use this thing without Dragon's Breath. But if you do use it, close the gap fairly well with it because you're so fast, and it's a lot of fun in the two-shot. Like I said, very consistent, so I encourage you guys to try it out, especially if you're getting bored of the game, you're kind of getting antsy from Modern Warfare 3. This might help you pass the time a little bit, because in solos, this thing is great. Before I let you guys go, I do want to point out I will probably be making my next video on another hipfire SMG build. I seem to have gotten a good bit of reception to the first one, which I really enjoyed making because it was just kind of fun and something different for the channel, and I think a lot of people really liked it. So instead of going for this sort of meta SMG builds, instead I'm going for the more fun route, and I think a lot of people like hipfire builds, and there is a ton that you can do with the SMGs in this game for hipfire. So I'm probably going to be doing that next on the ISO 45, and then again we'll continue with the shotgun builds as per usual because I've got a lot of spicy videos for that coming up soon. So if you like shotguns, if you like hipfire builds or whatever, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Go check out my profile on the COD Community app. And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video.
Enemy destroyed. Use your attack map to hunt down the rest of them. Good kill. Marking the rest of that squad on your attack map. Get hunting. Kill confirmed. We've located